A folk hero is a type of hero whose legend is well engraved in public consciousness, either by folk tales or folk songs, or even just by talk of the town. And a common misconception is that to be a folk hero, you have to be like this massive thing that everybody knows, when in reality that's not true at all. So long as there's chatter about something you did, or an aspect of your personality, or anything like that, that technically qualifies you as a folk hero. For example, your name is Devin, and you're in math class and you poop your pants. You thought it was a fart? It wasn't. A couple days go by, and then everybody in your high school starts talking about Doo-Doo Devin, who pooped his pants in math class. The boy who thought it was a fart. Technically, according to the rules, Devin is now a folk hero, at least inside of his high school, because he's ingrained in the consciousness of a group of people. So, now that you know what a folk hero is, what is a folk tale? A folk tale is a story that originates in popular culture, typically passed on by word of mouth. So in the same example, the act of Devin pooping his pants in math class is in itself a folk tale. So great, now that you know what a folk tale and a folk hero is, let's get into some of our forgotten folk heroes. Starting off with the big man, starting off with the OG, starting off with Paul Bunyan's story is so damn funny because you want to know what the folktale is, you want to know what the folk hero is, it's a big ass guy. That's it. Paul Bunyan was just a big ass dude, and that was his whole folktale, that was his whole folk story. Sure, there's a little bit of like fantasy elements here and there, but at its essence, Paul Bunyan is a story about a big ass dude. The story goes that Paul Bunyan was born a very big baby. So big, in fact, that when the stork went to deliver him to his parents, who by the way, are just normal sized dudes, like they're just normal dudes, they're normal ass people. When the storks went to deliver Paul Bunyan's big ass to his parents, the stork couldn't do it. The stork literally couldn't do it. The stork was like, damn, this big ass baby. He had to get homies to come help deliver Paul Bunyan to his parents. Dude, imagine looking out and being like, oh, the stork's bringing my baby. And there's a flock of birds carrying your baby. You're a big ass baby. And most of his problems come from that. Growing up, he was too big. Shocker. And it was said that when he rolled over as a baby, he was so big that he actually caused earthquakes a couple towns over. And obviously the people of that town were fucking pissed. They're like, what the hell is going on? Our buildings are shaking, what is going on? And they like, I don't know how they tracked an earthquake, but I guess they tracked it down to Paul Bunyan. They told his parents to like, I don't know what they wanted him to do with the baby, but they told the parents like, yo, get your big ass baby to stop rolling around and cause an earthquake. So the dad being like, damn, this big ass baby causing me problems, he built this like giant wooden cradle and he put it in the middle of a sea so that he could put Paul Bunyan in there and like, you know, let the waves rock his baby to sleep. And it kind of backfired on him because Paul Bunyan, big ass baby, started rolling around some more in his sleep and just caused tsunamis across like all of the coastal towns in the area. And his dad was just like, fuck, I mean, I can't have him on land, I can't have him in the water, so I think he just like put him in the forest. They never really explained how they solved the whole earthquake thing. Maybe they like strapped the baby down or something. But to give you a little bit of context to like how big this baby was, when Paul Bunyan was just a couple weeks old, he weighed in at 100 pounds. Now my question is, what the fuck? What the fuck? Who is carrying that baby? 100 pounds at a couple weeks old? Oh my fucking goodness. Holy shit, that is a big ass baby. Who's changing him? Cause you gotta like pick it up to like pull the diaper. You gotta like, what are you, like deadlift form? Like you gotta fucking sumo squat to pull the diaper out of that baby's ass? That's insane. That's absurd. There's no rockabye baby. There is no rockabye baby. It's rockabye dude. Cause get the fuck out of my house. You are way too fucking big. What the fuck? If 5 storks pull up to my house, this big ass baby in half, 5 storks pull up to my house, they are catching hands. I'm fighting every one of them. I'm engaging them in combats. And I'm winning! I'm going to win! I don't care if they're just doing their job. I don't care if they have to meet quota. I'm gonna take them from here on the fuck scale to here. You know why? Because they're getting fucked up. I'm not gonna fuck a stork, but I'm gonna mess them up is what I'm saying. They're gonna catch these hands. They're gonna be. I'm not trying to fuck a bird. All I'm saying is that. What am I saying? I'm just saying that's not my kid. That's not my kid. Go give that kid to, obviously my kid got lost in transit or something, because that's not my fucking kid. Go give that kid to like Shaq or something, okay? That's not my baby. That big ass that's not my baby. No. And you know what? And you know what the craziest part of all of that was? He grew up to be 7 feet tall. That's it. 7 feet. I've seen motherfuckers that are like 6'6". You're telling me he was like, oh my god, he was 4 inches taller than... I'm gonna be honest. I think that's a big load of baloney. I think that's some flim-flam. I think that's some gobbledygook. Okay. Because in every picture, as a kid, Paul Bunyan was depicted as this like giant ass guy. But everywhere I researched, they were like, nah, dude, he was like 7 foot. What? No. I feel like they're all lying. So you know what? I'm retelling the story. Paul Bunyan was not 7 feet tall. From now on, he's 14 feet tall. Okay, Paul Bunyan, I'm gonna change that. Somebody go in the fucking Wikipedia of Paul Bunyan. Because 7 feet, you're telling me a 7-foot baby was making earthquakes? That's crazy. That's insane. Because like, what was he, like a foot? It took 5 storks to deliver a baby that was a normal size. No. He's 14 feet tall from now on. Okay. Cool. We got that settled? Nice. Awesome. Now, on to the next thing. He ate a lot. He ate a lot of food, which was kind of messed up for like the parents, because like, I mean, they were just like normal farmers. Like, they were just normal dudes. It was said that when he grew up, he ate 50 eggs and then 10 containers of potatoes every day. Sorry, no, not every day. For every meal. That's breakfast, lunch, and dinner, buddy. Eventually, he grew up, and he was off to do his own things, because, I mean, he outgrew his home. In my opinion, he outgrew that shit when he was delivered, but he outgrew his home when he was getting a little bit old. And one day, he went out in a, like, terrible snowstorm. But something was kind of peculiar about this snowstorm. All of the snow that was falling was blue. But when he went outside, he saw that there was movement in the snow a couple paces in front. And he goes closer, and he sees a horn sticking out of the snow. And he grabs it, and he pulls it out. And out pops a little baby ox, painted blue because of all of the snow that had just consumed. So he goes over, starts a little fire, puts the ox near it, but even when it was all warmed up, the color sort of never went away. And Paul kept the ox, and he named it Babe, and named it Babe the ox. And Babe, being, you know, Paul Bunyan's ox, Babe got kind of humongous. Paul Bunyan fed Babe until the ox got bigger and bigger and bigger. One day, he left Babe overnight under a barn. And the next day he woke up and he was gonna go over to Babe when he saw that the barn and Babe were both missing. And he started freaking out. He was like, what the hell happened to my ox? And he starts looking around when eventually he goes down street, and off in the distance he sees Babe calmly eating grass, calmly just having a light little breakfast. And on top of Babe's head, stuck on the horns, was the barn. And that's kind of fucked up, because whose barn was that? I know that wasn't Paul Bunyan's. He didn't fucking have a barn. There was no Paul Bunyan's barn. That was just like, did someone let Paul Bunyan stay at their place out of the kindness of their heart, and then they wake up and they're like, okay, cool, my barn is gone. That's awesome. But yeah, that's literally his whole story. He's a big guy. Afterward, he became a lumberjack. That's what he's most known for. He can like cut down an entire forest with like one swing of his like axe, which I mean like is crazy. Like, yeah, that's fucking like if I saw you do that, I'd be like, okay. But I mean, other than that, he's just kind of like a big guy who's like strong, I guess. Which I mean, if you're a big guy, I'd hope you were strong. But yeah, that's Paul Bunyan. So now let's talk about Johnny Appleseed. Is actually cool as fuck. Johnny Appleseed is awesome. I'm not ashamed to say it. Some people are like, Johnny Appleseed is just a dude that like threw Appleseed. Shut the fuck up. First of all, you're fucking wrong. Second off, fuck you. Third of all, shut the fuck up again. Johnny Appleseed is so awesome. Yes, his whole story is just sort of that he threw apple seeds around the place. But the really cool thing is that he was like an actual guy. He was a real guy that actually existed. Paul Bunyan, I mean, he was just sort of like a tall tale that kind of happened. There's no one that's directly linked to Paul Bunyan. But Johnny Appleseed, there is. His name was John Chapman, and he was born in massive poop shits in 1774. And he was just a guy. Like, he was literally just a guy with a dream to produce so many apples that nobody would ever go hungry. Which is just like, that's just like a great idea. Like, he's just a good guy. He's just a good guy. The only people I can see having a problem with this is probably like doctors, you know? They're probably away for a long time. I guess that's tough for you doctors, but you know what? I hate doctors. So, and if you're a doctor watching this, sorry, not sorry. Okay. When I was 6, a doctor told me that I was gonna have to get a shot, and I said I didn't want a shot, and I hid underneath like the patient bed thing that they have in the corner, and the doctor was like, hey, Caesar, don't worry, like, I won't give you a shot so long as you come out, just like, don't worry about it. And then you got like 6 fucking nurses to strap me down and hold me down, and then you pull my fucking pants down, and you give me a shot on my butt. And you fucking lied to me, and you betrayed my trust, and I fucking hate you, and I love apples, and I'm keeping you away from fucking— Damn it, I'm trying to stop cursing. I can't stop cursing. I hate doctors. I fucking hate doctors. You gave me a shot on my butt, and that was so fucked up. Why would you guys do that? Literally give me a shot on my butt. That's so fucked up. Ooh, I'm gonna fucking quit YouTube. I'm going to quit YouTube, and I'm gonna become a SoundCloud rapper, because, bro, I'm dropping bars. Fuck, But the story goes that Johnny Appleseed carried a bag of apple seeds everywhere he went. And the story goes that he was the father of hundreds of apple orchards all across the United States. He planted along roadways, he planted along streams. He planted everywhere. His name is Johnny Appleseed, okay? They didn't just call him Johnny Appleseed because he looked like one, okay? He threw them everywhere. And what I just told you about Johnny Appleseed's throwing seeds everywhere and becoming the father to hundreds of apple orchards all across the US is the story that most Americans and most people are familiar with. But here's the real story, which I personally find a little bit more interesting. Johnny Appleseed didn't throw apple seeds willy-nilly. As a matter of fact, he actually researched extensively to find the best place to plant apples. And he wouldn't just like plant them and dip. He planted them and he made sure that they were spaced correctly. He tended to the garden, he tended to the soil, and he actually used a couple of like fallen trees and fallen logs and vines to make a sort of fence around all of the apple seeds to keep it protected from critters and just things of that sort. And then he'd go off, plant more apple trees across different like territories, and then come back to the original one, tend to the soil, tend to the apple trees, go around, and he was just like a really dope gardener, essentially. He was just a really cool guy. He just went around planting apple trees, tending to them, and when they were done growing, he would sell them to the people that were interested in apple trees. And like, yeah, that's cool, that's dope. But another really quirky thing about him that I really like is that he never wore, okay, I don't like the fact that he never wore shoes, but he never wore shoes and he never wore proper clothes, which I found a little bit odd. I was like, what? There's got to be a little bit more to that. Well, it was said that he would trade with merchants for proper clothes, so he had the means to get proper clothes. But when he did get proper clothes that he saw as like high quality and like really useful, he would give the clothes away to people who were in greater need than him. He was the OG Mr. Beast. Like, he planted trees and then he made money and then he gave the money away, essentially. I mean, he gave the like clothes that he would get to people in greater need. I really like Johnny Appleseed because at its core, it's a story about a guy who just wanted to do a little bit of good in the world. A couple apple seeds at a time. And he did. He did that and he became a legend. And I don't know, that message like really stuck with me. I really like that message. John Henry was a fucking beast. John Henry was crazy. John Henry is such a cool guy. John Henry's a cool guy. John Henry is awesome. Like, John Henry's awesome. John Henry's so cool. But before diving into John Henry, I wanted to say a couple of things. Number one, thank you for watching. I really appreciate that. I hope that you liked the video. And number two, you should definitely hit the subscribe button and the follow button. You would be so awesome if you did that. So, just saying. So without further ado, this is the story of John Henry. And it's a really special one because his story is one of determination, one of endurance, one of strength, but it's also one full of tragedy. John Henry was the strongest, fastest worker on the railroad. Back in the day, when they were making the railroads, they had to go through mountains. So they had workers that specifically were there just to like drill into the mountain with hammers. And John Henry was a driller. He was the person that actually went into the mountain, started drilling everything out. And it was said that he could drill 2 7-foot holes a day. No one even came close to this guy's drilling speed. But one day, a salesman showed up and he presented this brand new machine, a machine that would replace all of the workers on the job site. The machine was a steam-powered drill, and the salesman said, "This machine here can outdrill any man on this job site." But John Henry, he was not having any of that shit. John Henry took it up as a challenge, and they set up a competition to see who could drill the fastest, man or machine. The foreman ran the steam drill, and John Henry sort of just pulled out 2 20-pound hammers. And a crowd gathered around to watch this competition take place. And as soon as the competition started, as soon as the whistle was blown, dust exploded everywhere. They drilled and they drilled and they drilled, and after 35 minutes, John Henry emerged. The steam drill had drilled 1 9-foot hole, and John Henry had drilled 2 7-feet-long hole. 14 feet in total. John Henry emerged victorious. John Henry won the competition. John Henry had that fucking dog in him, okay? And I'm not saying he had a little chihuahua controlling him from the inside. John Henry was a fucking maniac. That guy was the original Mr. Beast, okay? But instead of giving out money, he gave out whoopings. Because John Henry fucking showed that salesman who was boss. And all of the onseers were howling and cheering and just going fucking bananas. John Henry was the fucking champion. And everybody was so absorbed by just the energy and seeing John Henry emerge, 2 20-pound hammers in each hand, victorious against this new technology, this new machine, that nobody really noticed John Henry's legs buckling. Exhausted, John Henry's body crashed to the floor. Hammers rolling from his grasp, the crowd went silent and they rushed to his side. But it was too late. A blood vessel had burst in his brain. The greatest driller who ever lived was dead. And the message sent was one of endurance, one of perseverance, one of strength, but it was also one of caution, of being aware of working yourself to death. Okay, let's start off with Paul Bunyan. Paul Bunyan is cool, I guess. I mean, his whole folk story and the whole like thing surrounding him being a folk hero is literally just he was a big guy, which I personally just don't find that like interesting. I'm gonna put him in D tier. He was just a big kid. He was just a big guy. That was his whole thing. I'm putting him in D tier because D is for damn, that's a big ass babe. Okay, my boy Johnny Appleseed. First of all, look at the picture. My boy's looking fresh. My boy is looking fly. Johnny Appleseed, his whole story was like, he was just a good guy. And I like good guys. I think we need more good guys. And also he kind of looks like Wendigoon a little bit. So, but I really like him. I really like Johnny Appleseed. He's kind of like a G. His whole story was like, cause he was a real guy. Paul Bunyan, fucking big ass baby. That's all he had going for him. Johnny Appleseed literally wanted to like feed people. You know, like he was trying to do a little bit of good in the world. I think that's so cool. I think that's so honorable. I think that's so, that's fire as hell. You know what? S tier. S tier, okay? S tier. Johnny Appleseed is fire. Okay, Johnny Appleseed is S tier. I don't want to hear no fuss about it in the comments. That's undebatable. Johnny Appleseed is S tier. John Henry. This one's hard. John Henry's story was really badass. And like, that's what sticks out to me about John Henry. John Henry was just like a badass guy. It's such a like underdog story. Bro, he was a dude going up against like an entire machine. You know, and he won that shit. Fuck, this is hard. I might put him in S tier. He might, you know what? I think, this is hard because I really fuck with Johnny Appleseed. Nah, fucking John Henry was bad as hell. Not bad, not like well, I think this is gonna be the tier list. I think this is it. For now, this is how the tier list stands. John Henry, ultimate folk hero so far. Johnny Appleseed, A tier. Fucking Paul Bunyan, low, D tier. Paul Bunyan, D tier. Yeah, I know some of you guys are gonna fuss at me in the comments because like, oh, Paul Bunyan's so infamous. I don't care. He was just a big dude. That was it. He was a big guy. Cool. Okay. I think this is where I'm gonna end the video. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments if you guys want to see more videos like this. I really like folklore. I think it's pretty cool. I think there's a lot to learn from it. And I had a ton of fun making this video. So let me know what you guys think. And if you do subscribe, you get to be part of the BOGO gang, which is a pretty exclusive group of gang members. But to get in, all you have to do is hit that follow button, text your grandma something nice, and I don't know, beat up 5 storks. You know what? Go in the comments right now. Let me know how many storks you've beat up in your life. And whoever has beat up the most storks gets to, I guess you're a BOGO gang leader. The more storks you beat up, the more, the higher ranking you are in the BOGO gang. So drop it down in the comments. Let me know how many storks you've beat up in your days. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace. I think that's good. Boom shakalaka, boom shakalaka. Okay, stop.